I know this is a difficult topic, but I feel like it personally touches me because I am married to someone who is of Lebanese descent, and he did actually go to school in Lebanon. And as a child, his school was raided by Israeli soldiers. And, so he personally has been touched by this. Then he also has some relatives in Lebanon. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I know it's a perennial thing for many people, and for Americans, we are woefully ignorant and misinformed on this topic because we live in the country, essentially the only country that goes out of its way to support Israel as if Israel is completely in the right, which it clearly is not. If you have objective information, you do realize that Israel essentially is a colonial imperial power that is conquering the territory of what is now Israel. It is resettling people in the West Bank and slowly making that territory unavailable for a two-state solution. And it just continues to oppress and ethnically cleanse Palestinians out of its current territory, and then also out of the territory that it wants to incorporate, that it has had under military occupation since, basically now more than 50 years. So it is a difficult topic. I get it. I am not anti-Semitic. I think that imperialism is bad. You should not take stuff from other people and, then treat them as second-class citizens or worse. I understand this has happened all throughout history. But what you have to understand that is unique about this situation, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, is that it has been happening in the 20th and 21st century, and it is still happening. And then the problem for Americans is that in a metaphorical sense, we have blood on our hands because our government is essentially the primary supporter of Israel in the world. So although Americans are largely waking up to the fact that Israel is not 100% in the right in everything that it does, and that it is behaving like an imperial conquering power, that we Americans, because our government isn't very democratic in its response to us, our Congress has essentially given Israel carte blanche to do whatever it wants. So it's a difficult situation for Americans. I think we have a unique ability and responsibility to complain about this, because if our government weren't providing so much support for Israel, there might actually be a more likely compromise and peaceful solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, because we wouldn't be the bad actor, in a sense, this huge superpower that backs Israel. Israel would be more likely to have to negotiate on fairer terms and a fairer compromise if it weren't backed by the United States so strongly. So we as Americans do have a responsibility to speak up about this. And if you're not a religious extremist, a Jewish religious extremist who believes that Israel must exist in its current form, that they can't compromise with the Palestinians at all, who cares about the fact that you're conquering or stealing territory from Palestinians and treating them like second-class citizens or worse, making them stateless, forcing them out, who cares about all that? Because God gave you that land. If you're not one of those people, you realize that Israel is not in the right and that a compromise must be reached. There must be a two-state solution, or if it's just going to be Israel, it can't be just a Jewish state. It should be a secular state that respects the human, civil, and equal rights of everyone in Israel, including the Palestinians.